So, good afternoon, children. We are moving on to another chapter. The title of our chapter is The Adventures of the Adventure of the Beryl Coronet. The Adventure of Beryl Coronet by Arthur Conan Doyle. Okay, so today we are learning a new chapter, The Adventure of Beryl Coronet by Arthur Conan Doyle. Have you heard about this author before?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Can you name any of the story that you have learned in the previous
Adventure of
class?
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Adventure of Sherlock Holmes. Then, any other story which we have learned in the previous class?
A
Hmm?
store.
Last year we have learned one chapter.
The Blue Carbuncle.
Ah, yes, very good, Hira. The Blue Carbuncle. That story also was written
Conan
by
Doyle.
the same author, Arthur Conan Doyle. Okay, so let's quickly um, get some informations about the author. So write down full name of the author. Sir Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle. Sir Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle.
Ma'am, which book?
Course book. Then he was born on 22nd May 1859 1859 at Edinburgh in United Kingdom. Edinburgh, the place he was born. Edinburgh in the United Kingdom. Then nationality. He is a British writer. Then regarding his education, he was educated from the University of Edinburgh. Educated from the University of Edinburgh. His father is Charles Altamont Doyle. Charles Altamont Doyle. And his mother Mary Foley. Mary Foley. Okay. His profession. By profession, he was a writer at the same time a medical doctor. Writer and a medical doctor. Full name Sir Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle. He was born on 22nd May 1859 at Edinburgh in United Kingdom. Nationality, he is British. He was educated from the University of Edinburgh. His father is Charles Altamont Doyle and his mother is Mary Foley. And by profession, he is a writer and a medical doctor. And he died on 7th July 1930. 7th July 1930, Crowborough in United Kingdom. At Crowborough in United Kingdom. Okay. These are some of the quick facts about Arthur Conan Doyle. Shall I change the screen? Have you all finished writing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else to complete?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Now, as far as Arthur Conan Doyle is concerned, which is the most famous character of his creation?
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. Because in almost all the works of Arthur, we find the fictional detective character Sherlock Holmes. Okay. So, write down, he created this character, this famous character, fictional character was created in the year 1887. In 1887, Sherlock Holmes created the character, Arthur Conan Doyle created the character Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is portrayed as a private detective officer. Sherlock Holmes is portrayed as a private detective officer.
Ma'am, page number.
Page number 64. Okay. And in almost all the stories, the narrator, who is the narrator?
Dr. Watson.
Okay.
Yes, Dr. Watson.
Watson.
Dr. Watson is the narrator in almost all the stories of Sherlock Holmes. So, the main character or the central character in the stories of Arthur Conan Doyle is Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is a private detective officer. It's a fictional character, and we have the narrator as Dr. Watson. Okay, so in the last class, when we discussed the worksheet, do you remember? Do you remember the worksheet which we discussed in the last
Yes.
class? What was the
Yes.
title? What was the title?
Watson meets Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Dr.
And
Watson
Dr.
meets
Watson.
Sherlock
Sherlock
Holmes. Okay. So that passage tells us about the first time when Dr. Watson was meeting Sherlock Holmes. So in this story also, we find Dr. Watson as a narrator. Okay. Now let's come to the title. The Adventure of Beryl Coronet. What could be the title? What do you understand from the title?
Something precious item is
Something precious item
is stolen.
is stolen. Yes, some precious
So-
item is missing. So
to find that adventure.
Yes. So the story is about something is missing, and it's Sherlock Holmes' duty to find out who is the culprit. Just like the same, the storyline is same, somewhat more or less the same as Blue Carbuncle. All right. Now, what do you mean by adventure? Adventure. Huh? I'm planning to go for an adventurous trip next month.
With risk and difficulties.
Okay, risky. All right. Come on, children, please open your mouth and tell me, share your ideas.
Thrill.
Huh? Some cameras are off. Please switch it on fast. Fast. Otherwise, your names will come in the group. Risky. All right, agreed. A kind of.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Okay. In a way. Then. In between, I'm marking your attendance also. That's why I'm looking down at times. Tell me. Adventurous means strange or unusual, exciting experience. Can you hear me? Adventure means a strange or unusual, exciting experience. So here, who is going on for an adventure?
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. Yes, Sherlock Holmes is going for an adventure. Okay. So, as we have learned the story Blue Carbuncle last year, you know the pattern of
Yes, ma'am.
how Arthur Conan Doyle narrates his story. You are familiar with the pattern. So now, something is hidden, some suspense will be there in the story. Okay? You will be able to understand it only towards the end. So today also we are going to learn a suspense-filled story. But before we start with the chapter, I'm going to read a paragraph for you. It is not there in the text. Please listen. Okay. Listen to the paragraph carefully and then you have to answer to my question. All right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So this
Yes.
paragraph is about Sherlock Holmes. Listen carefully and give me the answer. Let me see whether you have brain to think. All right. Sherlock Holmes was busy reading a book in his hotel room at New York. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. He opens the door and finds a pretty young girl. On seeing Holmes, she says that she is sorry to disturb him. She has come to this room thinking it. As she moves to leave, Holmes stops her sternly, saying she was lying. Why does he say that? A very simple question. You want me to repeat it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, once again.
Yes.
Sherlock Holmes was busy reading a book in his hotel room at New York. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. He opens the door and finds a pretty young girl. On seeing Holmes, she says that she's sorry to disturb him. She has come to this room thinking it is hers. As she moves to leave, Holmes stops her sternly, saying she was lying. Why does he say that?
Because he rang the bell. If it is her,
Yes, Azan, can
She
you switch
know-
on
know
the
that's it.
can you switch on the camera? Azan? Yes. Give me the answer.
she rang the bell, so why she will rang the bell in her house to get into her house?
Ah. Anyone has got any different answer?
Maybe she came.
He will be having. Maybe.
She knocked the room. She knocked the room. Huh?
That's all I say.
She knocked the door,
While
and
he
then
was reading.
when Sherlock Holmes opened it,
While
she
reading.
told him that she thought it was
Sorry.
her room. Sorry. But Sherlock Holmes understood that she was lying. How did he understand that she was lying?
Ma'am,
Because if it is her room, she will
she will be having the key. So
Ah, yes. What Azan said, what Alan said is correct. If it is her room, why she has to knock the door? She could have directly opened it, isn't it?
yes.
Yes, very good. Correct. So we will move on to the story. Let me see before coming to the end part of the story whether you will find the culprit or not. Okay, so first I will introduce the characters to you. Okay. The main characters in the story. We have mainly 6 characters. First one, Alexander Holder. Alexander Holder. It will be good if you write it in your notebook so that later on when you refer, you can easily understand. Alexander Holder. Then second, Arthur Holder. Third character is Mary Holder. Fourth character, Sir George Burnwell. Then fifth character is Lucy Parr. Lucy Parr. And the last character is Francis Prosper. Francis Prosper. So these are the main 6 characters in our story. Alexander Holder, Arthur Holder, Mary Holder, Sir George Burnwell, Lucy Parr, and Francis Prosper. Okay, let's get to know the characters in detail. Alexander Holder is a partner. He is a partner in a private bank. In a private bank who loans money for the Beryl coronet. I'll tell you what is Beryl coronet. Okay, for the time being, you just write it down like this. Who loans money? Okay, who loans money? Arthur Holder is Alexander's son. Alexander's son, who is extravagant. Extravagant. I hope all of you are writing. Then Mary Holder, Alexander's niece. Alexander's niece and adopted daughter. And adopted daughter. Sir George Burnwell, Arthur's friend, one of Arthur's friend, and a frequent visitor. And a frequent visitor at Arthur's house. Lucy Parr is the new maid. And last one, Francis Prosper, the new maid's handicapped friend. The new maid's handicapped friend. Okay. So these are the characters in our story. First one, Alexander Holder, Arthur Holder, Mary Holder, Sir George Burnwell, Lucy Parr, and Francis Prosper. Who is Alexander Holder? He is a partner in a private bank who loans money. Okay. He is running a business, he is running a bank, and he is one of the partners. Next character is Arthur Holder. Arthur Holder is Alexander's son. He is extravagant. What do you mean by extravagant? Extravagant? What do you mean by extravagant? Extravagant means a person who spends a lot of money unnecessarily. Extravagant. A person who does not have any restraint in using money. Okay. Arthur Holder is Alexander Holder's son, who is extravagant. Then the third character is Mary Holder. Mary Holder is Alexander's niece and adopted daughter. What do you mean by niece? Niece. Niece and nephew.
Brother's
Ah,
daughter.
brother's daughter or sister's daughter. Niece. Okay. So Mary is Alexander's niece and she is an adopted daughter. He has adopted her as his own daughter. Then the next character is Sir George Burnwell. He is Arthur's friend and a frequent visitor at his house. Fifth character is Lucy Parr, the new maid. Maid means servant. And the last one is Francis Prosper, the new maid's handicapped friend. All right? I hope you're clear with the characters in the story.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's come to the title, The Adventure of Beryl Coronet. As you said, something precious goes missing and Sherlock Holmes has to find out who's the culprit. So Beryl Coronet. Beryl is a precious stone, a semi-precious stone, and coronet means crown. Okay, we are quite familiar with the word corona, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, yes, of course. Now the word that we hear only is corona, corona, corona. Okay. But when you write for the exam, don't write corona. It is coronet. Coronet means a crown. Okay. So a Beryl coronet is the central part of the story. And we find how a little bit of it goes missing. So we'll start. Who is going to read now? Alia, read.
A person of high birth visits Mr. Alexander Holder to borrow 50,000 from the bank.
50,000 pound. 50,000 pound.
50,000 pounds from the bank against the security of a Beryl coronet.
Beryl coronet. Beryl coronet.
Beryl coronet. A magnificent piece of jewelry. Holder takes the coronet home for safekeeping. At night, a part of coronet goes missing. Holder lives with his son, Arthur, whose expensive habits he dislikes, and Mary, his niece, whom he has adopted. Though Arthur is in love with Mary, she has refused to marry him. Beside his family, Holder has 3 trusted house helps and Lucy Parr, a girl who had joined recently. The story begins with Holder visiting Sherlock Holmes to seek his help. The story is narrated by Holmes' friend Dr. Watson.
All right. So the introduction of the story is given like this. A person of high birth visits Mr. Alexander Holder to borrow 50,000 pound from the bank against the security of a Beryl coronet. See, you might be knowing if you have to borrow a sum of amount from the bank, what do you have to give? Either you have to give gold as a security for the money that you are borrowing, or you have to give some other important documents, isn't it? So the same thing is happening here. a person belonging to high birth, a person belonging to high class family. He wanted to borrow 50,000 pound from the bank, and for that he approached Alexander Holder, and he received 50,000 pound only when he gave the beryl coronet as a security. I hope it is clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
beryl coronet, a magnificent piece of jewelry. Holder takes the coronet home for safekeeping. So, without keeping it in the bank, Alexander Holder took the beryl coronet to his home to keep it safe. At night, a part of the coronet goes missing. So, the problem starts there. What happened to the beryl coronet? A part of it. The entire crown did not go missing, but a part of it went missing. Holder lives with his son, Arthur, whose expensive habits he dislikes, and Mary, his niece, whom he has adopted. So, there are quite few members in the family, mainly Arthur, his son, and Mary, his niece. Arthur has got a habit, a very bad habit, that is, he spends money unnecessarily. He is an extravagant. So, Alexander Holder disliked this expensive habit of Arthur. Okay? Though Arthur is in love with Mary, she has refused to marry him. So that's a one-sided love, one-sided love. Arthur is in love with Mary, but Mary does not like him back. Mary refused to marry Arthur. Besides his family, so besides Arthur and Mary, there are some more people in the house. Let's see who are they. Holder has 3 trusted house helps and Lucy Parr, a girl who has joined recently. Who is Lucy Parr? Who is Lucy Parr?
The girl who
The
has
new maid.
toys.
Of
Yes, the new maid, the new servant who has joined recently. The story begins with Holder visiting Sherlock Holmes to seek his help. The story is narrated by Holmes' friend, Dr. Watson. So just like almost all the stories of Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson is the narrator. So the beginning part or the initial part of the story, we find that Alexander Holder has gone to meet Sherlock Holmes to find out who is the person who has stolen a part of the coronet. Is this much clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hira, read the next paragraph.
I told Arthur and Mary about Arthur and Mary about the coronet when we were having coffee after dinner. When I told them that I had put it in my dressing room bureau, Ar- Arthur said that any old key would unlock that bureau. He often has a wild way of talking, so I thought little of it.
All right, all right. I told Arthur and Mary about the coronet when we were having coffee after dinner. Who is I referred here in the line?
Narrator, Dr.
Narrator.
Wilson.
Hmm?
Dr.
Yes?
Watson.
Dr.
Dr.
Watson.
Dr. Watson. All of you agree with the same answer?
Alexander
Alexander
Holder.
Holder.
Yes, very good. Alexander Holder. Okay, I refers to Alexander Holder because Alexander Holder has approached Sherlock Holmes to narrate about the whole incident. I told Arthur and Mary about the coronet when we were having coffee after dinner. When I told them that I had put it in my dressing room bureau, Arthur said that any old key could unlock that bureau. He often has a wild way of talking, so I thought little of it. So now, children, listen here carefully. Alexander Holder borrowed 50,000, gave loan the amount 50,000 pound to a person for the security of beryl coronet. In order to keep it safe, Holder brought the coronet into his house. My first question is he supposed to say it to anybody else?
No,
No.
no.
No. He is not supposed to say it to anyone else because He brought it home as a part of keeping it safe. So even if it is his son or his adopted daughter, he is not supposed to tell anyone of them. But what could be the reason why he has told them? Excuse me. Huh? What could be the reason why he has told them?
Because a part of it was stolen.
No, no, no.
Because
Before it was
they are-
stolen, he told them.
Because they are living with holder.
Because
for
they are
the-
living with holder, they are living in the house. There will be
For
one
the
reason, no. If we disclose some secret to somebody else, there will be a reason. On what basis do we disclose some secret to the people who live with us?
If we are in danger.
Only if you are in danger, you would disclose?
No.
See, you are all living with your parents and your siblings. Huh? You would disclose some secret that concerns you with your parents. Why do you say that secret to your parents and not to your friends?
Because they are the trusted ones.
Yes, very good. Because they are the trusted ones. You disclose a secret to a person only if you trust them. Okay, so Alexander Holder revealed the matter of beryl coronet to Arthur and Mary, thinking that they are the trusted ones for him. Okay, actually, he's not supposed to disclose the matter. He's supposed to keep it safe in his cupboard, in his bureau. When I told them that I had put it in my dressing room bureau, so where was the beryl coronet kept?
In the dressing room drawer. Bureau.
Yes, in the dressing room bureau. What do you mean by bureau? Read out the meaning given there. Adnan, read out the meaning.
Here, a writing desk with drawers and a top that folds.
Yes, a writing desk with drawers and a top that folds. So he kept the expensive beryl coronet in the bureau of his dressing room. And that matter was disclosed to Arthur and
Arthur and
Mary. Okay. When Arthur heard this, he said, any old key could unlock that bureau. He often has a wild way of thinking, so I thought little of it. Any old key. So what is inside the bureau is very expensive. And when Arthur heard about it, he told his father, Alexander Holder, any old key can unlock it. Anybody can easily take out the beryl coronet from it. But Alexander Holder did not pay much attention to his words, to Arthur's words, because he always has a wild way of thinking, a different kind of thinking. I hope you are able to follow me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just because Holder trusted Arthur and Mary, he disclosed the matter of secrecy, that is, beryl coronet was kept inside the bureau of his dressing room. The moment Arthur heard this, he told his father, any key, any kind of old key can unlock the bureau easily. But the father did not pay much attention to it because he thought the son has a wild way of thinking in such a way. All right, moving on to the next paragraph. Anantita, read.
Later, after ensuring that the coronet was safe, I went round the house to check if all doors and windows were locked properly, a duty which I usually leave to Mary. As I came down the stairs, I saw Mary hurriedly closing the windows overlooking the stable lane. She told me that she did see Lucy come in through the kitchen door after meeting someone.
All right, all right. Later, after ensuring that coronet was safe, I went round the house to check all the doors and windows were locked properly. So usually it was a duty done by Mary.
Ma'am, time is up.
Yes. I know. I'll finish it off. Okay. Usually, it is Mary who checks the doors and windows, but this time Alexander Holder himself checked whether the doors and windows are locked properly. But when he came downstairs, he saw something unusual, that is Mary quickly closing the window and overlooking the stable lane. And without Alexander Holder asking her anything, she told that she saw Lucy coming in through after meeting somebody else. So children, I want you to work out on this paragraph when you come for the next class. That is, was there anything suspicious about Mary? Do not read the entire story, okay? Then the suspense will be revealed. All right? You just think whether any suspicious thing is connected with Mary. Why did Mary close the window hurriedly? Or what made her do so? And without Alexander Holder asking her anything, she gave the response that she saw Lucy coming through after meeting somebody else. Okay. I hope the session is clear to you. Thank you all. I'll meet you in the next class.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.